Finding the domain and range of a function from a graph. The best way I know to teach this is just doing examples and walking you through it. Domain, again, went with what values? The x's, and the range went with the y's. So I'm going to remind myself of that, and I'm going to do it in colors. The domain I'm going to stick with red, and the range I'm going to stick with pink whenever we're talking about it. Okay, so for number 1, when I look at the domain, again, the x values, I want to come in from the left and go from left to right and ask what x values can I find points. So for the domain, it's going to be the set of values. What x values do I see points at? -4, -2, 0, 3, and 4. I've also taught it this way. If I were to get a flashlight and hold it up here, so the flashlight's shining down, when I do that, what points, where will the points put shadows on the x-axis? Does that make sense? When I shine a flashlight up here, this point is going to put a shadow here at x equals -4. Okay, for the range, I'm going to ask the same questions, but it's with respect to the y-axis, to this axis. If I were to put a flashlight out here, and shine it this way, what values on the y-axis would get shadows on it? Well, it would be -3, 0, 1, and 5. So my range are the y values -3, 0, 1, and 5. That's how you do it if you're given a bunch of points. What if you're given the graph with line segments and curves? Let's go talk about domain and range this way. Domain, come in from the left. If I were to pick -3, could I find a point on my graph? If I were to pick 1, could I find a point on my graph? If I were to pick 3, could I find a point on my graph? If I were to pick 6, could I find a point on my graph? It stops right here, right? What x value did it stop at? 4. So that's my biggest x value. Can I actually pick 4 and find the point? So it's going to be a bracket. Now, what's the smallest x value I can pick? Look that it goes this way with an arrow, right? -infinity, good. And it's with a parenthesis. Since that arrow is there, it keeps going forever. If I picked -6, I could pick a point. If I picked -1,000,000, I could find a point. Okay, let's go play the same game with the y values. I'm going to come in from the bottom. I always go from bottom to top with the range. Can I pick -10 and find a point? Can I pick -8 and find a point? When do I get to actually start finding a point? At -4. So it starts at -4. Can I pick -4? Is it open or closed? It's an actual point. So I get to use a bracket. Now, when do I stop finding points? Can I find one at -2? Yeah, I can find 2 of them. Can I find one at 1? Can I find one at 5? Yeah, because it looks like this, remember? So I can find one over here at 5. When do I stop finding points? You don't. You go all the way up to infinity. Let's go do another one. Okay, for the domain on this one, coming in this way, look and see that this graph goes on forever, right? There's arrows. And it does actually get wider, right? It's not going to keep getting skinnier. So it keeps getting wider. What are my x values that I can pick? All real numbers, negative infinity to positive infinity. For my range coming in from this direction, can I pick all these y values way down there? Yep, so I start at negative infinity. But where do I have to stop? Here at 4 with a bracket.